As the mask would say, it's showtime. Here we are. Oh, I love it that we can do these kind of stuff on these informal sessions on Tuesday. So welcome everybody to
Yes, welcome.
Multilingual Live. Our last session just before we take a little break. Here we are.
So
So
let me see.
we'll be off on a little break this coming month. Any plans for you?
For me, I'm a bit low key. I must say. No, we're going to go on an island in northern Germany, which is a part of Germany that my children don't know much yet, and me neither. But I always wanted to go. I know a little bit of the Netherlands, the northern Netherlands, but now I want to go to some of these islands, and we're going to go there.
Okay.
So it's another subculture, sub-German culture. I hope it's not going to be the wrong term. I really like that part. I must say I have been reading a lot of books from northern Germany, and so I'm very curious also about the language and the traditions, the way of for example, drinking tea. That's a culture. The tea culture in Germany is in northern Germany, so that's Ostfriesische tea.
We have folks coming on
Yes.
different platforms on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Thank you very much for joining. I do see some very original names here. We have Português como herança. So that's nice. That's a great handle. And the next one's even lingo seeds. My goodness, I love that. Lingo seeds. The seeds of language. My goodness.
That's good.
Hope you were able to get that handle name for all your platforms because that's a great one. So we've got other folks we can't really see because it's on StreamYard, but we do have other folks on YouTube, Facebook,
and Twitter.
Welcome. And Twitter? Oh, you're on Twitter.
Yeah. No. I'm not sure that it worked today with Twitter.
But it's okay.
I had a glitch.
It's okay because it's not even called Twitter anymore. Did you know?
Oh yeah.
Since yesterday, it's now called X. So Elon Musk is going in there and shaking things up. We'll see if that works out in favor.
We will see.
Well, he's not a billionaire for nothing. So I'm sure he's got his plans. But anyways, here we are. I'm gonna borrow that name, lingo seeds. We're sowing the seeds of language and multiculturalism through our kids. So welcome. If that's your bent, do say hello and comment. We're here every Tuesday, although this is the last one, as I was mentioning, last one before our summer break for the month of August. We'll be right back in September. But every week we're here sharing, half an hour or so, maybe a little longer, our time with our viewers. And if you have any questions, comments, anything that has to do with raising multilingual kids or even just parenting in general, these are all stuff that we love to talk about, right, Ute?
Yes, exactly. And the last times we always somehow turn into also the topic of parenting, because you parent in different languages, you parent based on different backgrounds, cultural backgrounds, so you cannot detach raising a child with multiple languages from raising a child from different and with different cultural backgrounds. So it all comes together, and it's not that straightforward and easy. And this is also something that I'm passionate about, and I know Tetsu, you as well, to put this all on the table, and not only now let's see if my child is good at, I don't know, talking about mountain climbing in German or whatever, but there's so much more that comes with this. And many of us are going on holidays or are on holidays. Maybe some are on holidays, maybe sipping a nice drink at the moment. We don't. I don't. I only have some tea. But and wonder what they can do during the summer holidays, right? I see. Hello, Paisley Communication. Welcome, and Emegle.
Yeah, I guess that's the advantage of being on Instagram. We get to see your handle names. On
Yes.
the other side, we kind of can't see it,
can't.
but it's okay. You are all welcome nonetheless. And once again, it's a very informal session, so we feed off of you. If you have comments or questions, we can answer those directly. But otherwise, Ute and I just sort of talk about everything and anything that has to do with kids and languages in general, and our sort of our daily lives, what we're thinking and what's going on. For example, I was saying I'm going to Taiwan this coming Sunday. I'll take a 2-day pit stop in Tokyo, but I'm leaving on Sunday early in the morning, arrive Monday afternoon. I'm arriving. I told this to my colleagues in Japan. They already set up a drinking party. Like I'm going from the airport in Tokyo directly to the restaurant because I'm only there 2 nights. Next night I have another group of friends, so I have to use every minute I have.
Okay. And when are you going to meet your children?
Wednesday. So
On
I'm
Wednesday.
there Sunday. I'm arriving on Monday, the Monday over there, going directly to a drinking fest, and then stay over at my friends for 2 nights.
Yeah. Is it also with your colleagues that you work together during the years that you can meet them?
That's right.
In the same time zone. So you told once that sometimes they are having a drink whilst you are having your coffee, or
Exactly.
you don't because you're in the middle of the
past
night.
few years, often it had to be that way.
Yeah.
But before that, because I used to go to Japan like 8-10 times a year, when I first came back to Canada. And so, every time I go, it's just a big party. But I was living there for a few years, and that's just sort of the culture. You work during the day, and then in the evening before going home, you guys want to go grab a drink because it's everywhere in Tokyo. It's just so easy, and especially when you were single. I mean, when I was single, forget cooking at home. I mean, it's cheaper to eat outside, and it's better, and I don't have to wash the dishes.
Exactly.
Win. In all from all aspects. So that's how I was doing to my mid 30s until I finally got married.
Oh well, you're not so unhappy, I must say.
No,
You're pretty happy about that. No, but
late
it's actually, whenever I hear families who have the extended family on the other side of the world and in a completely different time zone. I mean, we often say, well, one of the resources is extended family and they can have FaceTime.
Mhm.
No, they can't.
It's
not
hard.
always.
Yeah,
either because they are awake when our children sleep and the other way around. Or maybe also, that was my case, because the parents are a bit older, or they cannot have this kind of relationship with the children for one reason or the other. So it's easy to give sometimes these I wouldn't say advice, it's the suggestions on what you can do, but we also have to be very careful that not everyone has these means, or not everyone can travel every year. No. I just had a chat with a mom, and she said, the last time she saw her parents was 4 years ago. So, and her child is 5, so they only saw the baby. But it's not that easy. And so thinking that this is one of the resources, go with extended family and travel as much as you can. But
but what I always like to tell folks is, I mean, clearly, if you analyze every method and every strategy, there are going to be some that it just won't work for you. But there are, quite a lot of things that you can do, and then that's where you put your focus, on what you can do. What are the things that you can control, and focus on that. Do the best you can there, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised that there's quite a lot that you can do, and not everything has to cost money. Most things cost time, but that's something you want to do with your kids. So, anywho,
Yes, and there was a post. I'm looking down because I'm looking at my other device, and you always have 15 devices in front of you. There was a post from Mari Tere Bellas. She's a Latina boomer mom on Instagram. and she was it was in Spanish, and it was about the fact that people or parents should be more flexible. So the flexibility is key, so to say, which is more important than many other aspects of raising children with multiple languages. Let me see, I just found it now. Sorry if I look down. It was ¿sabías que la flexibilidad es la amiga de la constancia cuando estás criando bilingüe?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, yes, exactly. So that the flexibility is actually the friend of the consistency, constancia, la constanza, when you raise a bilingual or multilingual child. And it's this balance between being flexible and being consistent that I found the most
flexible. Related, but I guess it's sort of open-minded. Yeah, that's also, and that's why I want to do this. We were talking about this a bit earlier about, there are topics where there are two sides to the same coin, and people, in these Facebook groups, they would like to argue. And I was thinking, how about we sort of extract that power and, in a constructive way, and have sessions where we could have both sides of the coin and have people sort of talk about it, discuss it, debate maybe, but not in an attacking way. I kind of think people say Opal, that's great, it's the best, and I use Opal, but I do think there are limits to Opal. One person, one language for some people, and you have to sort of see your context, and once you know these different conditions of different strategies, then you can make very educated decisions on what you want to do.
And sometimes we don't make we try to make educated decisions, but sometimes then we make last minute decisions because they're necessary, or we make not so bright decisions, but that actually we always can correct the course. I mean, of course, it's more dangerous if we only realize that we are on the wrong path. If we spend 3 years on that path and say, oh, maybe this wasn't really a very good idea. But if we realize in a shorter time, we don't make much damage, I would say. We keep it to a minimum, but it's very, very human and very normal to also try things that might not work out in the end, but then they also don't make much.
So it's not. There's no set it and forget it methods. I think you do something, and you have to validate and monitor the development of your kids constantly, I would say. And
like with everything.
Adjust, as you go.
And that goes for everything, right? Also their development with their hobbies, with other skills that they are learning and honing.
Indeed.
With the health. I mean, what parent is not alert when it comes to health issues with the children? I mean, I think we all would do everything for our children just to be healthy. And sometimes,
we would give our own health to our kids. I don't think I understood that before having kids, but hey.
No.
And in Japanese, there's a weird saying. They say they say you love your kids so much that it wouldn't even hurt if you put them in your eyes. How do you put a kid in your eye? But that's just how they say it. You love them so much that it wouldn't even hurt if you put them in your eyes.
Yes, but I get that. I mean, if you see your own child suffering, your level of suffering increases, so you can take a lot.
Seeing them suffer is much worse than in suffering yourself. It's just
absolutely.
That's just how it is.
Can we talk about something more happy?
We're getting off track here. Yeah,
I mean, everything comes with the two sides of the medals, right?
Yeah,
that's true. But I tend to always say, okay, now it's enough of crying or of and then let's turn it around and see what there is as something.
There's the rational side, right? There's the emotional side and the rational side, and both are necessary, essential, I think.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
But I think most people sort of like go onto one or the other. Like I think, I'm guilty of being too rational sometimes and sort of not going with the feel. I used to be all about feel as younger, but I don't know, it just sort of developed into like completely
And I think that at this point, my son would say, where does the rational end and where does the emotional start? So, I mean, you can describe it also as an overlapping one, or sometimes when you're thinking very rationally, then the emotional part kicks in and actually gives you a smoother, or rational doesn't mean to be, or doesn't need to be the hard part. It can also be the one that says, okay, be nice to yourself and be I don't know, do things in a kind way as well. That is also a rational thought, but it's more on the emotional regulation part. But we are digressing again. We are going now into philosophy and into psychology. And hi, Marga van Nieuw.
But I would add just one point. Somebody, like I told you, I'm getting quite like too rational. Like if some people, some friends of mine would say, you're almost like cold. Yeah. And I was thinking about this, and I was listening to Tony Robbins quite a few years ago, and he's like the guy who allowed me to rationalize emotion. If that makes sense. Like he's the person who really said, emotion is what drives action. So you need to rationally find a way to get that emotion kicking in. But in the end, the action is driven by the emotion. It's not the rational you. Because if it was just rational, you'd be able to do anything you want. Like just say, oh, I have to do this. I do it. Diet, losing weight, all these difficult things, quitting smoking. If it's just rational, anybody would be able to do it. It's a decision, but it's not. It's that emotion. And it's that emotion that allows you to do like the impossible in many instances. It's because you're so motivated to do it that you just don't think about the costs of whatever you're doing in those moments. So like that's why I always want to be careful. Both are important. I want to listen to my heart more than I do. I feel.
Yes, but we are all different, and I think as long as it's working for you and it's working for the children and the relationships, then it's fine. I mean, sometimes it's also I always think about the yin and yang. You have both sides, and then it depends on when one comes to the foreground. But it's this balance again. We were talking about balance in multiple languages when our children grow up with multiple languages and cultures, etc. And that there is not one that is in the foreground, the other ones are in the background. The same kind of balance also there. It's healthier to have some kind of balance, but it's only just a moment that you have that. There's always one that is a little bit more dominant in a certain moment of time. So that's also the flexibility that Maritere was talking about as well. I like that post, and that's good. Yeah.
With the kids, though, as adults, we use our rational brain to set up infrastructure, the environment for our kids, so that because they're just balls of emotion right until a certain age before they really have like rational thought, and so we want to extract that emotional power in whatever they do, direct it, strategically towards languages. Until at least, I don't know, 6, 7, or even more.
Yeah, I wasn't so strategic with my children. I must say, I never set. To be honest, I never set long-term goals. Okay. Just because I knew you need to be. I need also to learn how they function, what kind of characters they have, how are they responding to everyday situations, to the opportunities that they have. Maybe you want to give them all kind of opportunities, but they pick only one. Yes. And then, I mean, I wanted to avoid to feel frustrated or to feel angry even, you prepare all kind of things, and then they say, not interested, something like that. Where I said, no, I don't want to be that person that tells my child, oh, I'm so unhappy that you don't do this, because that's my feeling. It's not the one of my child. So it's for me to carry and to deal with it. But to have then the child see in what direction is they going, and then to be there and say, okay, try again, or try this. You seem to enjoy doing this this sport or something, and then for the time that they want to do it, and then see what it takes us next.
Well,
but I see we have some followers, or we had some followers on Instagram.
Yep.
Please ask us a question or tell us something.
Got a few more on Facebook and YouTube.
On Facebook, okay. So say hello. Even if you just say hello, we won't expose you. We will just say, oh, thank you for saying hello.
So as we were saying, yeah, we're in a slow mode. I think we're it's our last session before our break. That's coming up in August. Definitely, yeah. When we come back, it's gonna be rock and roll. It's school year is starting. It's like suddenly. I mean, I don't know how the time just goes by. Even though I tell myself every day, this is the only, July 25th I'm ever gonna get in my life, or July 25th, 2023.
Great.
I need to live it to the fullest. Every day, I thank the dear God, for my life, and I see my kids, and I live it actively, but it still just goes by. I think, hold on.
And it's getting faster and faster with the years that go by.
Why? 1 second is still 1 second. 1 minute is still 1 minute. But why? Why does it feel so fast?
Yeah, it is. Has to do with.
We just said Happy New Year,
Not yesterday. Well,
the next New Year than the past New Year. It's just insane.
Yes. No, I always think when the school ends, I always think, oh, it's already the end of the school year. But then when I look back, I remember when there were exams, when there were assignments and other things. Rationally thinking, it's there, but emotionally thinking is again end of the year, again with goodbyes and people leaving and others coming. Or my daughters now are the last year of school next year, and I have to let this sink.
Yes.
And see next year.
Well, I take a lot of photos, take lots of videos. My wife just the other day asked me, why do you document so much? And I'm like, I don't know. Sometimes I just look back at those, videos from 3 years ago, 5 years ago. Yeah. It's like, you were so small. You just don't. When you see your son every day, you just don't realize that he's growing.
How much they're growing. And now you have this period every year where your children and your wife are away for a longer period of time, and then you have time also to sit down and think back. And I don't want to say you're missing that time, it's not, but you're missing your children, of course, because they're not around you. And I mean, yeah, when the house is empty and you don't hear these feet walking or the fighting or something. It's just too quiet. It's too quiet. Yes, and then you miss them and say, oh, it's so nice, and you look at the pictures.
You're gonna make me cry.
No. You are just counting the days. You're on the countdown to go to Japan and to see your children afterwards.
Next week today, I'm going to Taiwan because it's Tuesday afternoon here, so it's already Wednesday morning. That's when I take my flight. To Taiwan. So I'm gonna be heading to the airport, or I am at the airport right now. Yeah, I'm at the airport now.
In a week.
On my way. In a week.
Oh
no, that's not true. I'm in the middle of the night. No, 4 hours. I'm going to the airport.
And your son is going to stay. Your son is staying, right?
My son is staying back here. So we have 9 weeks of summer vacation for the kids. Wow. Every week there's like a summer camp. going on.
Yeah.
And, I'm gonna miss the biggest camps. He's got hockey, 2 weeks of hockey camp in the middle of August, and just before school starts, he has a selection camp for like a team, and then in September it's like hockey season starts. He's got other selection camps, and so hockey literally like started last week. He went on the ice for the first time since March when the season ended. He was on the ice last week. Tomorrow he'll be on the ice again, and then in 2 weeks he'll have like hockey camps, like 2 days. 2 weeks, just on the ice every day, a few hours.
But it's also nice. You had now one-on-one time with Ronnie for a long time, and then it's going to be your wife having a longer period of time with one child. I always found this. These opportunities to have one-on-one time with one child at the time, maybe one day you go and do something, that was amazing. That's great memories also.
And I do these one-on-one sessions with my son, my oldest and my oldest and my second, my daughter. So, and we've been doing this for almost 2 years. We're actually 2 years now, and I really feel it's it's really allowing us to be able to talk really like rationally. That word that we were using earlier. Like I'm really able to connect with my son, and there are things where I just sort of say half the sentence, and he goes, yeah, and completes the sentence. I'm pretty surprised at the amount of things that he's grasped over time. He just turned 11 like a week and a half ago, so he's really able to do lots of these complex thoughts, mature thoughts.
Yeah, very mature. I would like to say hello to Infancia y Educación, and also Karin Detman. Hi, Karin.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah. So these kind of connections with the children, where you have these one-on-one situations where you get to really know them. It's also something that is very important for not only the connection with the children, but also exploring what their thoughts are, what they're up to, and the languages that they are using, how they are using it, and what they need from us also in our specific language to foster their skills. And I sometimes am very, very surprised when I have these discussions that they come out with words that we usually don't use, in the everyday situation, because they read them, or because they use them with a friend, or they pick it up from wherever. And then you try to situate it and say, oh, this is actually something that is interesting. Let's see how else you can explore that. But it's amazing. Yeah.
It's bittersweet. He's growing up.
It's bittersweet, yeah. But they're growing up, and we are getting older. But the connection is the most important part, I find.
Yeah.
Even if they are teenagers, and so many say, oh, when they're teenagers, they won't talk to you anymore. I wouldn't say that. I like the discussions we have. They evolve. They mature, and I'm very positively surprised of the discussions and communication that we have. I really enjoy it.
That's great.
Yes.
Like you say, they surprise you. It's
always. I learn a lot from my children. I think we can learn a lot from our children if we let them to teach us.
That's right. What about your kids? Those who are watching us right now.
Yes.
We'd love to know, how have your children surprised you?
Yes.
Not just linguistically,
anything in general.
In general, and it does translate into skills, different types of skills.
Yes. Yeah. Also because, in my Facebook group and in Rita's Facebook and others, you hear many times parents asking for, can you tell me what I can do or what I should do if, right? And then it's the parent who does something with the child. But then, in fact, it is more about how is your child responding, and how is the relationship between the parent and the child. And sometimes it's also the other parent who is involved. But what I want to say is the focus should more be on the relationship between parent and child, and then the language. And the language comes with that, because you need to have a language.
Mhm.
You need to find words. You need to use words or gestures or whatever to communicate with your child. And then it's not about exposing them to, I don't know, the words that are in a certain book and that they know these words because they use it, but it's another, it's a life language that they need. But maybe Karine can share a bit. If I'm not mistaken, Karine, you are a speech and language therapist. So if you're still there, maybe you can
Nice.
share a little bit about that.
Yeah.
And infancia educación. Yeah.
Yeah, I would add to that. Yeah, like it's people think it's, look at language as like math and chemistry, like a hard skill, like knowledge. But I find that it's a soft skill. It's much more about the kid accepting everything that has to do with that language, the relationship with you, the parents, uh, and his identity associated with that language. All that together in a package allows him to open up his brain to
Absolutely.
receiving that hard skill, the data itself, in terms of words and grammar. But it's everything around. You don't get that language without your child being really open to learning it.
Yes, open and willing and motivated to learn it.
Indeed.
And what better motivation is there than to have someone who listens to you and who asks questions and who is as curious as you are. So I find that it's a nice excuse to stay a little bit like a child and to ask these
Yes.
questions. Sometimes I ask also stupid questions. I'm perfectly aware of that. Maybe in the past years, a little bit less because the children are getting older. But when they were, when they
They're
were
outgrowing
younger,
you now.
yes, oh yes, my son definitely, but and my daughters, oh wow, I'm not prepared to that, but I'm getting there. I'm growing with them. But I remember when they were younger, I sometimes really asked, these questions when they are in the face. Why is that like this? And how is this working? And why is this working like that? Why is the wheel turning? And all these kind of things. And sometimes instead of answering the questions, I ask more questions, and then we actually found out funny things by asking more and more questions, and that was just playing the game of curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny. We don't have to have all the answers. Why do you think it's rolling? Why? They find an answer. They find it themselves.
Yes, for many things, I celebrate for everything that they know that I don't know. Anything that they can do that I can't do. The more the better, right? There are times, sometimes, where we're playing hockey and then my son would do stuff that, it's just like,
it's mind blowing.
Yes. I support him. I get him the tools necessary, and then I get him to practice, and then sometimes he gets really frustrated, but he still just goes on and does it, and I'm like, wow, I can't do that.
Yes, or certain things. When my children last year, they went on hikes in the mountain. They organized everything themselves, and they did it. Or then they went zip lining, and I said, okay, I never went on zip lining, and I'm not the person to do that, to be honest, because I have a bit of her. Anyways, but then I was surprised. I said, wow, all three of them went over the hair from there to there. Really? Okay, it's good that I know afterwards that I didn't know beforehand. Otherwise, my heart would have been here or down. But
these things, oh my God, I don't know. My son's 11, so I went into the Amazon, and swam with the dolphins, and there were piranhas in there too, and all these things, that afterwards I told my parents. My mom was going crazy. that I think of it, yeah, some of these were pretty dangerous. Camping out, there's like scorpions and tarantulas all over the place.
We all do them, right? When we are children of someone, but once we have our children, we say, "Oh my gosh, let's hope that they don't do this," and then maybe they do exactly what you did and said, "Oh, okay." That's a funny thing.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It's gonna come. It's gonna come. They're gonna say, I want to go into the Amazon. I'm like, no. But you didn't.
And then maybe your mom or your dad will say, "But Tetsu, you have been there." And then your son will say, "Right, I can go because daddy was there. So if you have been there, I can do the same." And what will you say? You will say,
I'm saying no because I went there.
They don't have memory of what you experienced, fortunately, because I mean, we don't want our children to know everything that we know. But and that might be then the moment where they say, "Granddad, Grandma, please back me up on this. I want to go to Amazon."
Yeah, and maybe I'm, a bit biased on this, but my boy, okay, look, you want to do stupid things. I mean, that's what boys do. Do what you do. But it's my daughter.
I'm laughing you out.
It's gonna be so hard. Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh. Be prepared. It will be, but the girls are tough. Yes. Girls can do.
No, I have no doubt. And I trust my daughter. It's not my daughter that I don't trust. It's
the others. Yeah, I said the same to my children as well, but it comes down to the fact, if they know when to walk away and when not to jump because it's not safe or something, disregard the peer pressure, be aware that it's peer pressure, not your decision.
That's right.
Those are things, but they have to experience it. I mean, some realize this when they're 25 or 30, so we have to give them time, a lot of patience.
Oh wow.
And counting up to, I don't know, 2 billion. Not 10 is not enough, never enough. Yeah, exactly. Okay.
All right.
No, that's
anyways good. Let's start thinking about wrapping up.
Yes.
I mean, it's already almost 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to those who have been watching and who's on the Facebook, YouTube, Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Twitter didn't work today, so unfortunately that didn't work out. But we will be taking about a month off. We'll be back in September for the beginning of the school year for lots of rock and roll. It'll be kind of be like a kickstart to like a new year almost. It's like the new school year.
Yes, and we have some new formats in mind, so don't miss that. So please subscribe either to the Instagram account of Raising Multilinguals, or join our Facebook group Raising Multilinguals Live, or join us also on YouTube or LinkedIn.
Yes.
So there we will be sharing the news, and you will have also the opportunity to share some of your thoughts and to help us find new answers.
There you go. Ute and I want this to be as interactive as possible. We want to feed off your ideas and your experience. So that's sort of the direction we're going. We're trying to think about how we could engage you guys more, so that we can make what we put out there more relevant to the end users. So that's where minds are. But it's been running 100 miles an hour for the past 8 months. So we will take a break. Ute, please take a nice, well-deserved break.
I will.
Take it easy.
Yeah, you too.
And we'll be seeing everybody right back here again in about 5 weeks in September. Okay?
Yes, exactly. So here it will be silence, but we will be back with a boom in September.
There you go.
I wish everyone a very nice holiday. Please enjoy your time with your dear ones. Hug them a little bit more and enjoy all the moments, and don't bother about anything that is negative. Just think about having a good time.
Live it. Live that life. Every day is the last day of that day you will have in your life.
Yes.
Every one of it is important. Okay?
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Have fun, everybody.
Have fun.
Take care.
Enjoy your summer.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
How do I do this? End.